All right, welcome back, or should I say, welcome me back to the Atlanta Child Murders Revisited. It is what 29 December. Um, this is video number. Is it 21? I want to say. I think it's 21. Yeah, 21. So we're gonna get back into it. Sorry, I've been away a while. Just really busy over here. Lots of stuff going on. So um, you know, got to. I hate to say it, but this is like out of 20 things, this is like number 19 on my list here. Okay. So I have other things like my business and family to take care of first. And then when I get finished with that, this is my kind of playtime, I guess you could say, my investigative time. So, anyway, we're going to keep going on and keep knocking out all my tabs here and going through the evidence as we come across it. Now, I pulled up this document that I did this document kind of just for myself, but I think it's be good to go over. Um, you know, it's good, at least with me and business and everything in life. I always end up making a document, a Google Doc, and I go through and I just ask questions. Matter of fact, I just did this video a couple of days ago about the Kennedy assassination, and it got me thinking about this Dr. Cyril Weck, who does this conference about 20 years ago. And he's asking these questions like, well, who had the power to remove the Kennedy's body from Parkland Hospital where it should have gotten an autopsy right there in Dallas County and never left? Who, you know, had the power to do this and do that with the president's body? Who had the power to remove the president's brain and lose it and his skull and all these things? And he says, if you can find out who had the power to do that, that's who the killer is. And that makes sense. Okay. So I always start off with questions. And in the case of the Atlanta child murders, there's a lot more questions I have than just in this document. Like, why is the killer doing this? And that's the main question, I think, that nobody really knows. And I don't think no one will really ever know except Wayne Williams. Only Wayne knows why he was killing this. He was doing the killings. Okay. Now I've hypothesized that, a couple different scenarios. He's just fucking crazy, but he's not that crazy because he definitely planned before, during, and after and during the cover up and the not denial. For what 40 years or so. So, and then there's the other scenario that maybe like I've hypothesized, maybe he was working with some kind of pornography ring, and that either the killings were the results of just shutting up kids who they're afraid they're going to tell on them, or I think that's the more likely scenario if it's a pornography ring. And matter of fact, let me put this down. Okay, we'll put down some answers here. So we got just crazy. Okay, just crazy. Okay, we've got okay, let's just say he's molesting them. Okay, so he's just molesting them and he's killing them to shut them up. Okay, let me clean this up a little bit. So this is how I work through all these things, and then I go out and find answers. Okay, and then the other one is pornography ring. We can put on this also pedophile ring, although that might be a separate thing here. Okay, so we'll clean that up. Pedo, pedophile. Is that right? Pedophile ring, and then we've got what's some other reasons he might kill them. Um, he's crazy, molesting them. Okay, what was that scenario that the DA put out there that he hated blacks, hated poor. I'm not going to say dumb or ignorant, but less smart, less intelligent blacks. And this is part of that thinning the race, thinning the herd, the race scenario. I didn't come up with this scenario. That's just one that they mentioned, but they never really present that as right on in in the court case. And again, they don't have to. They don't have to present a reason why he did it. All they have to prove is that he did it, which I think pretty conclusive there. So you got, why is the killer doing this? Well, he's just fucking crazy, right? I don't know. Hates poor, less intelligent blacks. Thin the herd race. Molesting to shut them up, or pornography ring. Okay. So if I was gonna go with percentages, okay, let's just say like that. Now, I would probably say about 51% here. I'd say that's the next highest one, probably about 30%. This one I never really bought. I'm going to say this one's 10%, and then the remainder is going to be here. So you got to use your math here. 100 minus 51 minus 30 minus 10. Oh, that's about 9. So, okay, we'll say this 9, 4, we'll say 15%, and then this is about 4%. Yeah, because he's definitely not fucking lunatic. I mean, yeah, what he's doing is crazy, but he's not like, you know, where he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, so there you go. Pornography, pedophile ring, 51%. Molesting them to shut them up. He's molesting people, kids, and he's shutting them up. 30%. Hated poor, less intelligent blacks, about 15%. Just crazy, 4%. Let me make sure I'm still recording here. Yeah. So that's my breakdown. That's what I think. That's just right off the cuff, off the top of my head. Okay. Oh, and I got that right there. And and let's see. So we can take these reasons here that I've already come up with. So we got that part right there. Just crazy, mentally ill. So you can see I've already worked through some of these. Being told to carry out the murders. That would go along with the pornography ring. Working with others, that would also go along with the pornography ring. So, and the reason I put the pornography ring and the pedophile ring together, because I think it was more a pornography ring and then a sidebar, maybe a pedophile ring. Maybe he was shopping some of these kids out. Um, there's not a lot of the kids disappearing for a day, you know, um, going to hotels, hanging out at hotels, with adults, but that could be happening. Who knows? Because the thing is, I mean, the kids, he could be getting them when they're supposed to be at school, and the parents are at work, so they don't know. But then they're going to get reported as not being at school. Now, whether that happened or not, who knows? That would be interesting to find out how many times and when they were absent from school um, in the 6 months, 1 year leading up to the murders. That would be really interesting to find out. But of course, there's no way that I could find anything like that out. But like I said, I think it's more. But he's got time enough. It's obvious these kids have been to his house because they've got the fibers on the clothing. Okay, and people have seen them before get into cars with Wayne and other people before they were killed, even weeks, months before they were killed. So there's a limited time that they can, like in hours, I'd say about 2 hours, that they can be away from home, okay, or not be someplace they're supposed to be, like school. Now you got that little period of time there. I used to get off at what, 2:30 p.m. My mom and dad wouldn't get home till 6, so you got 4 hours right there. You know, you you don't have to be at school, and mom and dad aren't home. Now I always had chores to take care of, and if I didn't do them, then I got in trouble. So, um, but yeah, right in there, 2 to 6, right there. That's the danger period that they could be being passed around in hotels. They could be taken over to the 881 Memorial, being filmed. They could be filmed at Wayne Williams' house because, like I said, it's obvious they went to Wayne Williams' house because of the fibers on the clothes, the dirty clothes. Okay, so and now again, we're just speculating here. Okay, and that's all you can do. Um, Especially when there's not a lot of evidence out there, you can speculate. You take what's the most logical, likely scenario of what's happening. Okay, I think they call them what, Occam's razor. You take all the scenarios and then you eliminate the impossible. Okay, aliens, fucking condors, dinosaur, pterodactyls flying down and picking the kids up, demon ghosts popping up on the street and abducting the kids, white guys, Ku Klux Klan members in vans for driving around black neighborhoods. And then when what you're left with, that's the most likely scenario. Okay, but there's always exceptions. You know, um, in the movies they like to push the least, the not most likely scenario, but in life it's always most likely the most likely scenario. Like a woman is found stabbed to death and her body dumped outside her car, or shot outside her car at work. She just went through a rough divorce. Well, the police are not stupid. They know statistically that if a woman is killed or shot, it's most likely the husband or the ex-husband. So that's the first person they're going to go talk to. Okay, just like what happened with Ron and Goldman and Nicole Brown. They went immediately to talk to the ex-husband, O.J. Simpson. Okay, I think they pushed a little too much there, jumping over that damn gate. I mean, how the fuck can you see, blood on a driveway in the dark and see a fucking glove? I mean, come on. But anyway, so you go with the most likely scenario and you eliminate the most likely, and then you work your way down. Okay? And that's what we have here. And like I said, Wayne Williams let's just restate it again in case you missed it. Wayne Williams is bringing the kids to the Sound Pit Studios, which is ran by Jimmy Jen, who's running Michael Thevis's pornography empire while Michael Thevis sits in prison at the Atlanta prison, Atlanta Federal Penitentiary, right in the same area where all the kids are disappearing. Okay. Many of the kids are disappearing or being found right down from 881 Memorial. There's these rumors running around that there's a child pornography ring in Cabbagetown right next to 881 Memorial. Okay. There are pedophiles that are arrested and cleared of the Atlanta child murders, but charged in other murders that are right there in those areas. Okay. Now, if you're a pornographer and you're in business, these guys down, can't remember his name right offhand here, but the three guys in Portland, South Atlanta, had been in business for 30 fucking years. Okay, that puts them back to the 1950s. They got to be selling it to somebody, right? Because they're not doing it. Well, some of them do it just for their jollies, but a lot of these pornographers, they're taking pictures of kids and paying them money. They're getting money. They're not just sitting there and jacking off to it at home for, the money they pay. They could be doing that, but most likely they're producers. And if you're a producer, you're selling it to somebody who's a buyer. Now, who's the buyer in town? Well, Jimmy Jen with, running Michael Davis's porn empire right there. So it's got to be. I mean, who else would it be? Okay. And so it's the same thing. This is what the police don't follow up on, which I don't understand. I haven't been able to get a hold of a transcript, but God, I sure would like to get a hold of a transcript, of some interrogations, interviews. Well, who the hell were you selling it to? You were taking pictures of kids and paying them money. Somebody was paying you money for those pictures. Who the hell were you selling it to? And why weren't they following up on that? Maybe they did. Maybe it was a dead end. Maybe Will Coxon, that's his name. Maybe Will Coxon just said, nope, ain't saying shit because it's Michael Thevis and it's the Gambinos and they can get my ass in prison too. So I ain't saying shit. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking in his head. I don't know, but you got this other guy, and I would play them. There's three guys. I would play them against each other. Hey, the other guy said, you were the ringleader. You were the head guy, so you're going to get most of the time here unless you start talking. Let's make a deal. It's like that game show. Let's make a fucking deal. You tell us everything, and we'll put in a good word with the DA to make sure you get a reduced sentence. But you got to come clean. You got to tell us if you hold anything back, we're going to throw the book at you. We all know that how that goes in the movies, right? I'm sure that's the same in real life. So, have a come to Jesus moment. Tell us everything you got. And then we'll put in a good word with the judge and the DA. That's what I would think. But out of all of them, I think that is the scenario because let's go down. Okay, he's just crazy. Well, if he's just fucking crazy, why not just shoot him? Why go through this whole scenario, this whole facade of starting this, fake music agency company with this Gemini group? Why rent all these fucking studios and do these fake auditions for thousands of people? Why put out all these flyers? Why write all these letters to the principals and the teachers of all these schools? All that costs money and time. You could be working at fucking McDonald's or doing more security work at the porn shop, right? But he's got this whole enterprise going. Why? Who would come up with an idea like that to write all those letters, to pay kids to put out flyers, to go around to all of the housing projects and put out flyers? He wasn't putting out flyers at Lenox Square, passing them out to people as they went into Lenox Square or Walmart in Smyrna or what, Lawrenceville. He was doing it all in where all the black kids were located. So he was recruiting. You know how I told you that the Gambinos, they will franchise out different vices to different groups. Okay. So you have your high end call girls, you know, remember the yellow pages? I remember we used to look in the yellow pages and we would, we were bad kids. Okay. This was before caller ID. We would look under escorts. Okay. In the yellow pages and we would call them, hey, baby, I want an escort. And then we would, if we didn't like somebody, we knew their address, we'd give them the fucking address, you know? Yeah, it's Billy over at, or John over at, you know, 1280 Cherry Blossom Lane, whatever, if that was somebody we didn't like, okay? I think they call it swatting nowadays, but back then it was called escorting. We would call them, oh, yeah, I need a girl over here now. And I think nowadays or later on, they started asking for credit cards, you know, for run the credit card fee or whatever. And then you pay the girl in cash. Um, I've heard that's how it works. But we would do that just for fun because we were, I mean, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have fucking video game. Well, we had could play video games at the gold mine, but that's what we did. Okay. So now I've gone down a fucking rabbit hole. I forgot how I got here. But anyway, that's what's going on there. So is he just crazy? I doubt it. Like I said, he's doing this whole enterprise, working, driving the fuck out of those cars. Okay. 80,000 miles, what, something like 40, 50,000 miles in one fucking year. You know, my God. Because they, they took the mileage off the car. It was a brand new car. Let's see. So out of 365 days, he was driving 136 miles a day. Who the fuck drives 136 miles a day? Okay. And so, what was the point of all this enterprise? If you're, like I said, if you're crazy, you know, you're just going to kill him. You're going to come by and grab some kid and slash his throat and kill him right there and dump him in the alley. You're going to dump him in the woods. You're not going to give a damn. You know, you're not going to try to cover your tracks. You're just going to start killing people, you know. There's some guy went on a bus, and there was another guy on a train. There was some guy on a bus in Toronto, and he pulled out a knife and chopped off the head of this guy. And then there was another guy, in North Carolina, and he pulled out a knife and stabbed this girl. They're just fucking crazy, okay? They're not trying to hide it. They know there's cameras. They know they're going to get caught. Maybe they don't know they're going to get caught. That makes it even more crazy, right? Wayne's not crazy. He's definitely hiding what he's doing and covering it. That's why he's bringing him back to the house. It's a controlled killing environment. He doesn't have to worry about some fucking security guard walking up on him while he's stabbing some kid. He doesn't have to worry about some policeman or some, I don't know, hunter coming along while he's dragging somebody into the woods. Okay. He knows exactly what he's doing. That's not crazy. There's a you know, like what, Hinckley. He knew where to go. He knew to grab guns, but he didn't try to run. Well, I guess he couldn't run because they grabbed his ass. I mean, like one cameraman was sitting right behind him and hit him over the head with a camera. Um, so, you know, anyway, so hates poor, less intelligent or educated or intelligent blacks, thinning the herd, thinning the race. Well, I mean, how's that going to work? It's like a reverse Schindler list, right? You know, Schindler saved 1,000, and from 1,000, there's what, 50, 20, 50,000 Schindler Kinder, children, grandchildren of the ones that were saved by Schindler. Okay, you preserve life. Well, this is the reverse. It's you kill a few children, and then you've eliminated what their children. If they're going to have three children, and their grandchildren have three children, but you got 500,000 blacks in Atlanta. How's that going to work? That's not going to really make a dent, right? You know, that doesn't make any sense. Um, so that scenario, it was obvious he didn't like the uneducated blacks. He made bad comments about them. That's a good motivation, and it makes it easier for you to kill them. If you don't like someone and you denigrate them, it makes it easier to kill them. That's why we called, Japanese gooks and wops, because it dehumanized them, and it made it easier, to stick a flamethrower into their bunker and barbecue 20 Japanese human beings. Okay. It made it easier to drop firebombs on Tokyo and incinerate 100,000 people in one night, men, women, and children. It made it easier, you know, to drop bombs on Dresden and incinerate 100,000 Huns. You know, they brought firebombs, people. These like gel bombs, what's that? Napalm, sort of like that precursor of napalm. These gel bombs where this diesel fuel would hit and then it would catch on fire and it would flow down into the bunkers and burn everything and everyone in there, or at least burn up all the oxygen and suffocate them. The men, women, and children. They did it. They did it on purpose. They weren't trying to blow up factories. They weren't trying to destroy ball bearing factories or tank factories. They were trying to kill and terrorize civilians into surrendering, to break their will. Okay? This is what Wayne is doing. He's killing these children, the blacks. He's strangling them. He's taking the power back, because that's exactly what I think happened to him. He was molested, and now he is the power. He's terrorizing the black community, because this is my supposition that they didn't protect him when he needed them, and that most likely the people that did abuse him were people in authority. So when you see, like me, all the bullshit, by the time I'm 60, I'm a very cynical person. You just don't believe in anything anymore. Now, there's some things I do believe in: family, love, Judaism, family. I'm not so sure about country, because we had a war over here, and it would been really easy in just a few months to go from the border of Gaza to the sea and wipe out all the Hamas motherfuckers, and that would have been in. But what does this motherfucker Bibi Netanyahu, our prime minister over here, do? He bombs the shit, carpet bombs them from one end to the other as punishment. Now we're a fucking pariah. Hamas is still living. They're still walking around. They got a smaller area, but they'll be back to, unless he goes and wipes them out. They got a truce now. They won, you know. But anyway, back to that. So, is he just molesting kids to get his jollies off? Is he just some closet pedophile homosexual that likes diddling kids? Well, why kill them? If you got something going there with these kids and you're paying them $5 or giving them shoes or whatever, and you got your You keep getting your little diddlies going. Why kill them? Why, you know, why do that? And the same thing with the pornography. If you got kids that are starring in your pornography, in your child pornography films and video and pictures, why kill the golden goose that's laying a golden egg, right? Why do that? I think there's a pornography ring going on. It's pretty fucking obvious. But why kill them? You're killing your stars, right? You don't want to kill your workers. I hate to say it like that, but that's basically what it is. You're running a fucking McDonald's. You don't kill your fucking fry cooks and your grill guy. Who's going to run the window if you blow them away or strangle them? So what's causing, if it's a he's just diddling with them, or if it's a pornography ring or a pedophile ring, because what if, you know, high elite white or black uh, politician in Atlanta likes little Yusuf and wants to see Yusuf again, but now you've killed him. You've killed your golden egg, right? So there's got to be more than just the pornography or pedophile ring. And honestly, I don't know the answers. I'm just throwing out scenarios based on the evidence and the information, what little there is that I've read. And like I said, even if we had all the documents, all the police files, I don't think we would know exactly the answer. The only real person that knows why and how everything went down, maybe he didn't know how everything went down, was Wayne Williams. It could be, like I said, the Atlanta child murders is just a sideshow to all the graft, or all the crap going on with the Gambinos and Thieves in Atlanta and around the country. It's just a fucking sideshow. Maybe they were just as surprised that Wayne Williams was the one that was killing these kids as everybody else. Maybe they had no idea. Or maybe they knew what was going on. Maybe Jimmy Jen knew what was going on. Okay? I don't know. Uh, that's another question. How likely is it that Jimmy Jen knew about he'd have to know about the pornography ring, right? He'd have to know about that if that's what was going on. But how likely would he have known about Wayne Williams was the Atlanta child killer? Well, now that I think about it, he'd have to know 60, 70, 80% sure it was Wayne, because surely not all the black kids looked the same to him, right? And he could remember a few, right? And then, you see him in there in the studio and you see them on the pornography film, and then they find his dead body a couple of weeks later. Even your dumbest guy could put one and two and three together and figure out that shit, it's Wayne Williams. Wayne Williams is the killer. See, then you got to wonder, well, if they know he's the killer and they're just buying pornography from him, why aren't they saying anything to the police? Well, I've studied a lot of logic reading, and, there's a word for it. I can't remember what it is, but um, if they know he's the killer, if they figured out he's the killer, why aren't they telling the police? Well, first of all, he may come after them. If he gets an idea, they're going to tell the police. Second of all, we're going to tell the police, oh, I'm buying child pornography from this guy, and I think he's the Atlanta child killer. Well, that's going to put you in jail too, right? Maybe even accessory to murder. So is the alternative scenario of that to shut up, to be quiet, say nothing, act stupid? Possibly. I don't know. And then, of course, if your thief is in jail, you probably don't know anything. Does Garland know what's going on? Probably not. I think at the end, they probably started figuring it out. But then you got to wonder, well, why now are they all defending him? And why is Jimmy Jin not coming in on the police, FBI, GBI, Fulton County DA's radar scopes? Are they not? You know, I answered that question a couple of videos ago that I think that he did come up on their radar scope, and so did Thieves. But they were so interested and focused on shutting down the murders, okay, that and how difficult it would be just to pin it on Wayne with the little bit of evidence that they had. That's why they reduced it down to two, right? But again, they picked the worst two to pin it on because there were more people and more evidence for all the other kids than these last two that I've gone over. But I don't know. So I'm just speculating. I'm just going over. This is what you do. I'm like, when I'm in a meeting with people and we're discussing shit, you know, and I brought out my little presentation, my documents, I put up their questions and I go over every fucking scenario. What will happen if we do this? What will happen if we do that? What will happen if we do this? And let's talk about these things. And hit me with what you got because I can't think of everything. Okay. This is why democracy is very important because one person, one fucking orange fucking 78-year-old man can't solve all the world's problems, can't think of every fucking scenario. Okay. You need everybody on board. You have to be open and humble enough to listen to everybody's fucking opinions. Okay. Because you never know. You may come across somebody may bring up something you never even thought of. Okay. And believe me, I've had that happen many, many, many times. Okay. Um, and then you run those. People come up with ideas. You run those ideas and you run into every fucking scenario that you can think of. The pros and the cons, the good and the bads, the what ifs. And you run all that down. And that's what I'm doing in this case. Okay? This is what police will do. They'll look at their suspects and they'll say, well, this guy, we've got two witnesses saying he was in that area, but there's no physical evidence. And this guy, the blood types match, but there's no fucking witnesses. And this guy had a very goddamn good motive to kill him, but we got no physical evidence and no fucking witnesses. Okay? And then this guy has the same type of fucking gun that the person was killed with. And then they'll score them percentage wise. Who's our most likely person? And then they'll start off with the top and they'll run that guy as hard as they can. Now you got some people, the stupid fucking investigators and the stupid fucking police who think they've seen it all, know it all, done it all, and they know right up from the very beginning without hardly any fucking evidence, okay, that this guy's fucking guilty as hell. And you can't go with that. You have to go with every fucking different scenario. Now, in this case, you can eliminate white suspects, which I totally agree with. Unless the guy was, running around putting fucking shoe polish on his face and on his hands. There's no way that a bunch of white guys or even just one white guy could be driving around fucking South Atlanta. I'll tell you right now, you can go do it today. Matter of fact, I should, when I come to Atlanta, I might even try that. Although I might fucking get myself shot or killed, but I should do that. I should drive around in the southwest, southeast Atlanta and drive up. Well, no, it shouldn't be driving up the fucking kids. I'm not going to drive up to anybody. Just drive around and have a video camera. People will be staring. I'll probably get pulled over by the fucking cops. No, I'm not going to do that. It's too fucking dangerous because people, they know when you don't belong in a certain area, okay? That's just the way it is. And you got all these fucking Karens. They talk about white Karens, and they're wrong, and they should be, you know, they should be in trouble. Every little black guy that comes near them, there's a black guy. He's walking behind me while I'm walking my dog in the park. You know, and the black guy is completely innocent. But there are black Karens and Kevins, okay? That will be like, what the hell are you doing in our neighborhood? You don't belong here. Where do you live? What the fuck are you looking? What are you looking for? Which people, that's the way you should be. Like I go running and there's these fucking dogs that in Israel, they just let the fucking dogs run around. And they're very territorial. I have to carry a fucking stick, okay? Because they will come after my ass because they're very territorial. What are you doing here? This is not your neighborhood. This is my street. This ain't your street. This is our street. And they'll fucking chase my ass. And I have to swing my fucking stick. And the next time I come back around, they're like, "Oh yeah, you got that stick. Yeah, you put down that stick. You'll see what we can do." You know. Not trying to sound like a fucking Puerto Rican or anything, but that's just the way it is, man. But people are very territorial. Wayne was very territorial. He was telling me that. What are you doing in this neighborhood? Don't you think you're a little bit out of your neighborhood? Oh, it's America. I can work anywhere I want. No, you're not in fucking America anymore, white boy. You're in our country now. That's what Wayne was telling me. That's what any black guy in any part of the black part of town in any city in America would be telling a bunch of white guys running around. Okay? I mean, come on, folks. Let's just be real. I'm not being racist. I'm just being real. This is reality. Okay? That's just the way it is. Wayne was defending his territory. I was in his territory. That's just what happened. All right. So let's keep going here. So I haven't gone over this in a while, so I'll have to add to it. It says, how is he selecting victims? Selection of victims is either anger, a snuff video, threatening to tell. I think that if he's got this golden egg, whether it's pornography or pedophile rings, the only reason you would kill them is if they threaten to tell. But if they threaten to tell, why would they get in the car with him, right? Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So that seems like a logical thing, but it doesn't answer why they still get in the fucking car. Why wouldn't they just take off running back home? Mama, it's Wayne. He's the killer. You know? And why wouldn't anybody tell? Why didn't anybody tell? I guarantee you that in those files, those police files, there are people that did mention Wayne as a suspect. But there were also people that mentioned, oh, it's the fucking Sanders brothers, and oh, it's my Uncle George. When he gets drunk, he goes out and kills a bunch of black kids. And so when the police, you don't have the discernment and the experience, there's just, oh, that's Wayne again. Oh, it can't be fucking Wayne. I know Wayne. Wayne comes around with all these damn. The only reason they're saying it's Wayne, maybe they even talk to Wayne. Oh, they're just saying it's me because I'm always, covering these stories, these about the murdered kids. That's why I'm there, right? I don't know. Location of the victim. Okay, so it puts out flyers, radio ads, auditions, known address, and hangout spots. Um, so it should be locating of victims. I should probably change it to locating of victims. So he's putting out flyers. He's got these radio ads. He is doing these letters to the principals and teachers of schools. He's going around to these shopping centers. He's paying kids to put out flyers. All this takes money. Okay. And again, why do this grand enterprise if you just hate kids, if you just hate young black kids, why go through all this fucking enterprise to recruit them, to audition them, to bring them, rent studios, to bring them there just to kill some black kids that you're trying to thin the herd? You don't like? I mean, come on. Doesn't make any fucking sense. There's more to it. Where are you getting the money? I already went over the money in my last videos. He's not making a fucking dime. He's not recording a record. He's not putting together a group. They're not taking him around to talent contests. How's he paying for all this? Mom and dad are on Social Security. Mom's sick, going to the doctor for cancer treatment. Dad is out there trying to make ends meet, taking pictures for the Atlanta World. So there's no way in hell those people are paying for his little enterprise. Okay, think about it. Wayne Williams' mother's dying of cancer, lung cancer. Okay, she's out there smoking and coughing. She's getting into bed, coughing up blood. And Homer has just come home from a hard day's work of running around taking pictures of dead children at these funerals. Okay? Besides his pension and Social Security. And Wayne is running around. Oh, Dad, I need more money for gas money. I need more money to rent $500 a month for one fucking studio. And he had 5 fucking studios he was going to. Okay? Oh, yeah. Well, Mom can skip her cancer treatment and her chemotherapy. I need more gas money. I need more studio money. Or when are you going to get this album together? Oh, it's coming. It's been 4 years, Wayne. It's coming. Don't you think a scenario like that would occur? But it keeps going on. So he's not getting his money from his dad, no matter what they try to say. Okay? He's giving them money. And where is he getting money? If he's not getting it from records deals, he's getting it from the pornography, folks. He's using this entire false enterprise of putting out flyers, kids calling him, he's calling them back. He's going by the house, checking out the parents, how involved they are. He's getting the kids, bringing them to the auditions, having them fill out the form, where they go to school, when they're at school, when the parents are at work, where the parents work, all these things, height, weight, favorite subjects in school, all these things. Okay? What for? Why? They never put together a music group. They never put together a fucking album. Not once. Not one, folks. I guarantee you, I don't know anything about the music business, but in 6 months, I could find 4 or 5 people and put together a band and get some kind of music going, playing at bars and honky tonks and talent contests and on the radio, and you can record shit on a cassette tape deck, whatever, back then, and send that around to the radio stations and all the fucking record companies. Somebody's going to bite, okay? And if you got them in the studio right there, you can record a fucking album. You got $500 a month to put into renting this studio. You could afford to print out some fucking albums. I mean, that's how what was it? Was it NWA? That rap group? I saw a movie on that. They were printing out their own fucking albums at a place that you could go and do that, and then the guy there signed them to a record deal. He became their manager and then got him onto a record deal. Okay, so anybody could do that. Anybody. And Wayne's just, I'd have to say, Wayne's probably a little smarter than I am. Okay, at least when I was his age. So, what's the whole purpose of this fucking enterprise? If you're not producing a product, okay? So, I'll put it to you this way: you got investors, you put together, they've got all these different fundraising websites and stuff, and you say, hey, I want to make widgets, and I can build the best widget in the fucking world. All I need is some financing to get it going, okay? And you get out there and you get your financing through one of these GoFundMe type sites. They give you $100,000. You go out there and you take that $100,000. You go out and you buy yourself a nice car. Well, say you get $1,000,000. You go out and buy yourself a fucking Porsche. You get a nice little crib, house, buy yourself some clothes, and you get, take your main squeeze out some dancing and movies and some nice dinners. But you don't fucking produce. Guess what's going to happen? The people that gave you your money are going to come after you, okay, either legally or whatever, and say you need to start fucking producing, or we'll see you in court, or we'll have Guido with the Gambinos come by and break your fucking legs. That's what's going to happen. So Wayne's doing this, since 77, so 4 fucking years, and nothing happens. He never puts together a group. So the reason why he doesn't is because it has nothing to do with putting together a fucking music group. He's using the Gemini group, the next Jackson 5, as the dream. He's selling the dream to the kids to get them on board. And along the way, there's a price to pay for fame. This is the price you got to pay. Just do a little here on the side, a little there on the side. Hey, I already know you're doing that over at Uncle Tom Terrell's. It's just a way to make some money, extra money, until we get that album, until we get that group going. And then the sky's the limit, baby. That's what he's doing. He's using these kids because they don't have, the, what's the word for it? The maturity to know it's all bullshit. Okay? That's my scenario. I think that's what's going on. And then he's introducing them into, hey, let's take a few pictures here, a couple of videos there. And before they know it, boom, they're deep into it. And who are you going to tell? You're going to tell your parents? Oh, shit, you've been giving me money. You got to tell seriously. Oh, Wayne, I don't want to do this no more. If you keep doing it, I'm going to tell my parents. Oh, you're going to tell your parents? I've been paying you money so you can have, got you on video, got you, I'm going to release this shit. You going to tell your parents? Parents going to punish you? Your parents are probably going to go to jail, right? You're going to go to jail. Do you want to go to jail? So he's using manipulation because these kids don't know any better. This is classical abuse and manipulation here. All right. Let's see. So I got that part. And of course, he's using, ice cream. Some of the kids were found with shoes that the parents didn't recognize. Some had clothing that the parents didn't recognize. So he was definitely buying them clothing. And then my I guess I'm going to throw this in here. So he's got them involved in this pornography ring, which is my scenario. And again, why is he selecting that particular victim? Is it just random? Has someone said, "Hey, yeah, I want to see a snuff film on that one," or has he heard that they are going to tell on him? Either they told him or they told someone else. Or is it just random? He's just, okay, we need another one. You know, Jimmy Jens come up to Wayne, hey, we need another one, Wayne. I don't know. Who knows? And then the problem I have here is the biggest problem that I can't even get close to solving. How does he find these kids? If you know where someone lives, that's one thing. Okay? You can drive up and down the fucking street, by their house, honk your horn all fucking day, and they may never come out of their house. They may not even be there. They may be at their grandmother's all fucking weekend. So how does he? And he's not calling them. Hey, I want you to meet me on the corner of so and so, because we have people like Yusuf Bell going to the store to buy some snuff, I believe, right? And then we've got Jeffrey Mathis going up to the store, random neighbor asking them to go to the store. So how does Wayne know to come by at that time to get them? Is it just he's got a list of where these kids live, and he's just this way he's putting all the miles in every day. Every time he's hunting, he's in hunting mode. He's out there driving around to see which kid will come out. And how do you get that kid? How do you know that kid is going to be in the backyard with his little niece or sister and know to bring a cab at the right time that he's going to be in the backyard? How do you know that? There's something else going on here. Is it just random? I don't know. Um, I don't know. So we're almost out of time here. That's the one thing I can't figure out. I don't think anyone would be able to figure it out. Only Wayne would know that. And of course, he's going. Once you get him in the car, and like I said, I ran across these scenarios. Hey, Jeffrey, what are you doing? Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the store to get some cigarettes for my neighbor. Oh yeah, okay, great. Hey, no problem. Hey, um, hop in the car. We'll take you over there. Oh, okay, thanks, Wayne. Once you get him in the car, and then they drive by the house, and he realizes he's not going to the store and he's not going to the house. What do you do then? Well, you got another person in the car with you then, but in the case of Yusuf Bell, when you drive by the house and get on the highway, Yusuf's going to be like, "Hey, wait a minute. I got to go tell my mom. I want to go with you, Wayne, but it's getting close to dark, and my mom didn't know where I'm at, and I promised my neighbor I'd bring him this and that." So I think it's got to be either he's pulling a gun on them, pulling a knife, handcuffing them, or using chloroform, or he's got someone in the seat or the back seat with him. Okay. All right. So we're out of time. I'm going to mark right here where I left off. We're going to keep going. And I've got some time coming up, so I'm going to try to keep going and do some more. And we will see you guys next time. All right. Take care.